But let's look at that. Where do the Niners stand heading into their bye week? They won. The Rams lost to the Panthers. I didn't see the game. It was going on at the same time as the Niners. But now Rams are 9-3, Seahawks 9-3, Niners 9-4. The Eagles have lost 2 in a row. The Bears are the number 1 seed in the NFC, and the Niners face them in about 3 weeks. Where do the Niners stand in your eyes?
Okay. I think it's fluid. So let me go through some scenarios. I think the first most important fact is there is no really good team in the NFC. Iggy, let's leave the AFC out of this for a moment, but because they're in the NFC. I thought the Rams were a really good team. Then they lose to Carolina, and we saw Carolina. I don't like the quarterback. I don't like the team. How the hell do you lose to them? So that makes me think the Rams are not as good as I thought they were. The Eagles are not as good as I thought they were. The Lions are not as good as I thought they were. Dallas, which I don't have much respect for, is a little better than I thought they were. The Buccaneers are a B minus team. Seattle is a very good team, but the Niners already beat them, and their quarterback can have these games where he goes crazy, can't stand up to the pressure, throws 3 million picks. So I would say that the Niners fall into the category of imperfect good teams. These are all imperfect good teams, and the Niners are one of them. So
like
they
one
are
of 12.
Really. So they are incredibly in the mix. Let me say this. I think they can go to the Super Bowl. Can they beat an AFC team in the Super Bowl? That's way early. Let's just talk about, could they get there? Hell yes. They could go there, and they could end up in the playoffs a pretty good seed. On the other hand, they do have some, Tennessee, forget it, but they do have some potentially tough games. The Bears, who again, I don't think are really quite as dominant as their record, it would be a game. The Colts are faltering, but it would be a game, and it's on the road, right, Iggy?
Mm-hmm.
And Seattle would be a game. So,
but you've already beaten them.
You've already beaten them. So when I did my predictions early in the season, I had the Niners losing their final 3 games. So if they beat Tennessee, they're 10-4. I had them being 10-7. I think they'll finish better than 10-7, but I'm now not saying they'll lose the 3 games. I'm saying I think they won't run the table, but I'm not sure what's going to happen. That's the best I can do. So I think they'll make the playoffs. They could be a low seed, get eliminated early, or they could go all the way to the Super Bowl. And Iggy, I wish I could be firmer than that.
I think that's fair. I think what's so interesting about this team, it's taken them so long to develop an identity and figure out who they are because so many injuries and so many guys in and out. And so they lost to the Rams 3 weeks ago. They've won 3 in a row since then. And after the game, I asked George, like, why are you confident this team is going to turn it around? And he was like, because, our offense is going to be the best. We're going to be this high-flying, high-scoring offense, and that's why we're going to win. And they have won 3 games in a row, but it hasn't played out like that. I mean, the defense has been surprisingly very good the last 3 weeks. The special teams has been a factor the last 3 weeks, and the offense has been complimentary. It's been good, but, I mean, they won in spite of the offense 2 weeks ago. In this game, the offense got out of the way and didn't make mistakes. It's not just the offense; it's the whole team.
Yeah. Again, I think Kittle sometimes gets overexcited. This team is not going to win shootouts over really good teams. It's not going to win a shootout over the Colts. No. It's not the way to approach it. It's going to score enough points, but it's not going to be overwhelming, and the defense is going to have to be really good, and the special teams also. So I disagree with George.
Yeah, they're not going to average 30 points per game with these wide receivers and that running game. It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen, no. Not going to happen.
No.
And with Purdy, who seems at his best when he reduces himself a little bit.
Yes. Yes. Agree. Agree. But they still could win a Super Bowl. Wouldn't that be funny if this is the Niners team after all these years with Kyle and John that won the Super Bowl? I mean, this is not the best Niner team they've had, but doesn't have to be.
I would love them to win a Super Bowl, especially in their own place, Iggy.
Yeah.
I
What a
would
story that would be.
what a story that would be. And I want to tell you, I'm not going to name any names, but there are certain journalists that you know and that I know at the midpoint in the season, we're already saying, well, it's not about this season. It's about 2026 and 2027. It
And the
was
3-year
bullshit
plan.
then. It was bullshit then, and it's bullshit today. This is a 9-4 team. This is a team that can play for everything. And that narrative needs to be flushed down the toilet. It's a loser narrative.
It was always a loser narrative. And I'm
Yep.
glad that that's over with. Yeah, they really, at the trade deadline, when we were saying, hey, why not do something? Everyone was like, for what? If you
Yeah.
really understood football, you'd understand that this team has no chance. Really? Well, what we said at the time was which team is definitely going to win the Super Bowl. There was never an answer
Yeah.
to that. Last week, I think everyone felt, okay, the Rams are definitely the best team in the league. Boom, they lose to the Panthers. Now it's wide open again.
And Iggy, if you go to the AFC, which is interesting, you
Yep.
would say Kansas City, they're great. Well, they're not.
Nope.
Buffalo, with that quarterback, they're great. Well, they're not. Joe
Nope.
Burrow is great. Too late.
Mhm.
So I think what you're looking at is New England. Okay, very good team, very impressive coaching job. Is Vrabel, right?
Second
Very
year quarterback.
impressive. Very impressive. But that's a young team. They get into Super Bowl. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? I think the Niners could stand up to any team in the AFC too.
Same with the Denver Broncos. What are they, 10-2 with Bo Nix? What's Bo Nix going to do in a Super Bowl if he gets there?
He almost lost last night to
Yeah,
Mariota.
that's right.
Mariota looked really good. He almost lost to him. So I'm saying I think the Niners are really live. They're really alive. And I don't want to hear shit about 2026. I'm talking about this season. They're alive. And it's exciting. And it's great to cover. I wish I were covering them. It's great to cover a team like that.
Yeah. And again, why did people wave the white flag and throw in the towel at the trade deadline because of this team? Because the defense. Fred Warner had just gotten hurt. People were depressed. And they're like, this defense is just hopeless. It's beyond they cannot salvage this. Well, it's actually pretty good. They just gave up 8 points. It's a good defense. They can rush the quarterback a little bit. Maybe it's just against the Browns and Panthers. We'll see. They can limit the run. They don't give up big plays. Their secondary is good. It's a pretty well-rounded team.
Yeah. And you know, another reason certain journalists wave the white flag, it's because it seemed like the team waved the white flag at the trade deadline. And there are certain journalists who don't question, who take what the team does as gospel. I never did.
Right.
My attitude, I'm sorry, was if the team did it, why should I agree? Let me think for myself. That's what I'm getting paid for. That's why I'm a columnist. I'm not
Yeah.
there as a stenographer for the teme. I'm there to say, I respectfully disagree. If I disagreed.
Yeah. When they said this was the year to take lumps, me and you immediately said, I don't give a shit that you think this is the year to take lumps. This is the year for you to go for it because you got Christian now. You got George Kittle now, Trent Williams now. And you have this schedule, you have this it could break your way. And just because you lost a few really good players doesn't mean that you can't win the Super Bowl. I think that's bearing out right now. I mean, every team has injuries. The Niners aren't the only team that has injuries. And right now, their offense is 100% healthy. They don't have
And
Brandon Ayuk. They have everyone else.
And Iggy, the person who said we're going to take our lumps early was John Lynch.
Yep.
And Iggy, he's a stand-up guy. He's a decent guy. Iggy, that was one of the weakest things he ever said.
Yep.
One of the weakest things he ever said.
Yep. Yeah, that's like a performer going on stage being like, "Hey, I just memorized the lines this morning." Like, don't make an excuse for yourself before it starts.
Yeah, or it's like a singer. Little Anthony and the Imperials, Little Anthony late in his career, he would always start a set by saying, "I have a cold, I have a cold," because
Yeah.
I don't believe he could sing quite as well anymore. Tears on My Pillow. I love
Mm.
Little Anthony, Brooklyn, but he did that, and it's like Lynch was saying, "We have a cold."
Which team do you think the Niners matchup wor want to need to avoid in the NFC? It's wide open, but in sports, it's often, styles make fights, a game of matchups. Which team do you think they don't wanna see in the playoffs?
Okay, boy, that's a good question. So,
Mhm.
let's go. I think they can beat the Lions. They lost to the Buccaneers, I think they can beat the Buccaneers. Iggy, I think they would have trouble with Philadelphia. And I think they've split with the Rams. So with the Rams, I'm gonna say it could go either way. I think Philadelphia would be too, uh, powerful for them, and I think the Rams is an open question. I also think they can beat Seattle, Iggy.
I think they
I
can beat
do,
Seattle. Yeah,
I do.
I think
So
they beat Seattle.
the 2 that would, unless I'm missing somebody, the 2 that would concern me, are Philly, but now Philly's not playing well. Philly with how they play, and the Rams with how powerful they are and how, high scoring they are. But the Rams can also suck. Look at yesterday to
What about
lose
Green
to
Bay?
that. That's a good question.
I don't know what to make of Green Bay. LaFleur, Jordan Love, they have games
Yeah,
where they're just utterly dominant, they have a really good defense, and then, I mean, they lost to the Browns this year.
yeah. I think the Niners could beat Green Bay.
I think so
It
too.
doesn't mean they will, but I think they could beat Green Bay. The 2 that would concern me are, Philly and the Rams. But I think they
Actually, I
can
think
beat
one
Green
team
Bay.
that would be a tough matchup for the Niners, but they're not even in the playoffs yet, is Dallas. Dallas has been remaking their team on the fly. They made a big trade at the deadline. They, traded for Quinn and Williams, who might be the best defensive tackle in football. He's great. They traded for George Pickens in the offseason, a third round pick for him. He's been great. And Dak Prescott has 2 wide receivers now. I mean, I'm not saying that the Niners can't beat Dallas, but that's a team that could score a lot of points. And I don't know if the
And
Niners are built to win shootouts.
Iggy, what do you think of Dak?
I think Dak Prescott is a very good quarterback who will make awful decisions under pressure. And when the Niners played him in the playoffs a couple of times, they had a great pass rush. Now they have like it's okay sometimes, and if he has time, he'll kill you.
He I got it. If he has time, he's sort of like Jared Goff. If he has
Yeah.
time, he's really, really good. Put him under pressure and he gets a little skitsy.
Yes, absolutely.
And the Niners might not be able to put him under pressure.
I don't know. Maybe Cleveland Farrell will keep playing like Alden Smith. It's hard to say. I don't know. He's been a good story.
Isn't it, Iggy, isn't it fun that so late in the season there are still so many interesting questions without answers?
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. It's unlike any other sport. I feel like in basketball, you have a pretty good sense, 3/4 of the way through the season who the best team is. In the
Yeah.
NFL, you have no idea. It could be the Niners, and I cover this team every day. I have no idea. It could be the Niners.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Iggy, I hope it is.